Well, good morning, folks. Well, it's morning here at the time of this videoing. I don't know what time you're going to be viewing this. And yeah, I do have my puffy on in the house. We keep our thermostat at 66, and it's like 22 degrees outside, so there's a little chill in the house, and I don't want to spend the money on the heat. So today's topic is average miles to finish on time, and I also have a app or a couple of different apps that you can use to help you in sending your resupplies. Okay, so the first thing I'll get into is I was online trying to establish a couple of mail drops for resupplying my food at the beginning of this trip, because the resupply options for the first, I don't know, 60 miles, 70 miles is a little slim. And I am leaving with the bubble, so that means there's going to be a few hundred people ahead of me. And I'm afraid that my options may be picked over. So I'm going to send myself a few food drops. And in finding the addresses and going through that process, I stumbled on a website, a couple of them. The first one is thetrek.com. And you've probably seen their videos. They have videos on here. But they also have a blog. And there's one individual for them. I believe her name is Clarity. She did a segment on resupplying, and she put together a spreadsheet. And in the spreadsheet, she has it all listed by mileage and all her recommended resupply points from Springer all the way to Munson up there in Maine. Which really came in handy. It really simplified me going through the data book, trying to figure out which town is going to be better than the other. And there, in between her major points that she picked out in the data book, there are, 7-Elevens or dollar stores and gas stations. There are other minor resupply points that you can find, but she picked out the major spots in where she recommended you send yourself a box, because there was a big stretch and it'd be difficult to do a long-term resupply. So she did a lot of the legwork, and it really simplified my end. So I'm going to give you the tip. It's thetrek.com, and look up resupplying, and you'll find her article. Now, when I subscribe to the Appalachian Long Distance Hiker Association, it costs $10. I highly recommend you joining. With that $10, you get a PDF file which you can download the whole Appalachian guidebook companion. You get that as a PDF, and you can then send it to your Kindle account. So you'll have it right on your phone or your Kindle or whatever you're bringing with you. When you at their main site, the Appalachian Long Distance Hiker Association.org, at their main site, you hit menu and you scroll down, and you'll see mailing addresses for resupplying, and they actually do the PCT and the AT, and they might even do the CDT. I think there was a third one in there somewhere, but that's beyond what I'm looking at. So click on the AT, and that will bring you to another page, and on that page is all mailing addresses, and they have it set up in a couple of categories. The top category, I believe, was all post offices. Every town that is accessible from the trail, they'll have a post office, they'll have a website or a link to it, and they'll also have how many miles from the trail to that post office, which comes in handy because a lot of them it was like within 0.1 or 2 miles or 15 miles from the trail. That comes in handy. So you'll know, geez, I got a big hitch, I got a long walk to get to that P.O. box or post office. And then the next section down is a list of everybody that accepts your mail drops, other than post offices. Now, this is a separate, additional list of hostels, stores, hotels, outfitters, anybody else that accepts your mail drops will be in the second list. And it's all by mileage, so it's really easy to figure out. Between this list and the list at the Appalachian Long Distance Hiker Association.org, their list, it's really easy to come up with all your little resupply points. But the app, the Appalachian Long Distance Hiker Association app, on their list, if you click it, it actually creates a shipping label for you. All you got to do at the top is a one-time deal. Fill in your return address. Then every time you click on one of those addresses on their list, it spits out of your printer a shipping label with your return address on it. It also has a little line that says ETA. You have to put that in. And then underneath that, from what I've gathered, because I've called a couple of places to verify that they are, collecting packages, most of them all want a phone number underneath the ETA. In case you're running late or you never show up, they want to be able to get a hold of you to find out what to do with this package. So that's the only thing you have to add in by hand, but you're not going to do that anyway until a week or two before you ship, because you just don't know what your schedule is going to be. You could be hit with a 3-day rainstorm or a snowstorm. It's going to keep you off the trail for a few days, and that's going to really screw up your schedule. So you really don't want to send all these packages all at the beginning, because you never know when you're going to get to those further supply points. So that's a pretty good tip. So again, the mailing labels will be obtained from the Appalachian Long Distance Hiker Association, and that's where you can get the PDF for the guidebook, and that's where you click to get your shipping labels. And then this here sheet is from the trek.com, and this is a recommended major resupply stops and recommended mailing of your resupply box. There's only a few places where they recommend you send yourself a box. Most of these others you can get to stores, Walmart or major grocery stores or something like that. Okay, now the second half of this video is not an app, but a spreadsheet that my lovely wife, One Step, put together for me. I want to know at different points of this trip coming up what my output is. How efficient am I on this trail? Am I going to make it to the end without, am I going to beat the snow in Maine? And I wanted something simple. I didn't want to have to sit there for a half an hour every night and start to figure out the mileage and go through this formula all by hand to figure out what mileage I need to do to get to the end on time. So we sat down for a few minutes. I explained to her what I wanted, and in 15 minutes she just had this spreadsheet. She did it. It would have taken me months to figure this out, but this is what she does for a living. She works on accounting software, So she deals with these formulas all the time. So she spit this out for me, and she gave me the okay to pass it along to anybody else that feels as though they would benefit by it also. But what this spreadsheet does is it takes your trail, the amount of miles that this trip is going to take, and as long as you put in a column every day what you hiked that particular day, right next to it, it tells you, okay, you need to do an X amount of miles for the remainder of your trip if you want to finish at whatever date you pick, okay? So and in a minute here, I'm going to have to leave the screen and get behind my phone and show you the spreadsheet and explain to you how it works. And basically, you just need three. You only have to put in three figures. One is your start date, your finish date, and total miles of your trip. It can be the PCT trip, it can be the AT, it can be the Florida trip, it can be the Vermont Long Trail, whatever it is. You need to know how many miles that particular trip is going to take you, and then the dates you want to start and finish. And then while you're on the trip, you need to put in every day how many miles you hiked that day. And it just automatically spits out, all right, you need to do 14.5 miles every day until the end of your trip, and if you want to finish on that date, so that you can catch a plane home, or you can get back to school or work or whatever you want to do. If you have no deadline, and then this app isn't going to mean anything to you. I don't have a deadline, but I just want to know roughly how I'm doing. I do not want to be hiking into November, so if I need to pick it up a little bit more in, let's say, July, in order for me to finish at the end of August or sometime in September, I'll know just by a quick glance, all right, I need to do 12 miles today, and I can do that. And obviously, if you do more than what the spreadsheet is asking you to do, that's just going to speed up your finish deadline a little bit. Okay, so let me turn this off, get around the back side of it there, and pull it up on the screen, and we'll go from there. Okay? All right. Okay, folks, I'm back. We're going to be looking at the screen on my phone, which is where I'll have this here spreadsheet. And right now we're just looking at my hiker page that I have set up, all the different apps that I use on my outings. First thing you're going to do is right here, you're going to see this Excel app. You need to download that on your phone, wherever you download your apps, from your Play Store or Apple Store. And this is a free app. It's a mobile version of Excel. So just download that, and then you can, after you do that, you'll be able to open up this Excel file. So all you have to do is just tap it, and when you tap that app, it brings you to where your Excel files are. Right now, I only have one file, which is this spreadsheet, but I have 4 saved files of the same spreadsheet. In case I screw up one, at least I have a backup to go to straighten it out. For this particular demonstration, I created a sample of the Appalachian Trail average miles. And so what you want to do is you just want to tap on that particular file to open it. And here it is right here. And let me just explain the spreadsheet a little bit here. In column A, these are the numbers of the days you'll be hiking on a particular trail. Column number B is your end date, which is in column C. I have right now picked September 21st is when I would like to finish this trail. Actually, I want to finish it in August 21st, but the figures are too discouraging, so I added an extra month, which will give me my 6 months on the trail. And back over to column B, right here, you'll see where it says total miles, which you put in column C, which is 2,200 miles. And I came up with that because the actual trail, I think I read somewhere this year, is going to be 2,192. But I'm doing the approach trail, which is another 8 miles. So that's how I came up with the 2,200 miles, okay? So that's where you put the miles of whatever trail you're hiking. You put those total miles on there. Now, going back to column B is your start date. You put your start date in there, and I'm going to be starting on March 21st, 2019. Right now, if you scroll to the right, you'll see that from day one, in order for me to finish in 183 days in 6 months, I need to do 11.9 miles per day. That needs to be my minimum. Obviously, once we get going, it will be between 8 and 12 miles, somewhere in there. But after a week or two, hopefully we'll be up around the 15-mile range per day. And then I'll be adding, 3 miles or whatever to the plus side, and I'll be chipping away at this average mile that I need to do to get to my finish. And obviously, the more miles you do per day will shorten the length of time I'll be on there. So I'm hoping to finish in 5 months. So I need to increase my mileage to eat away at 30 days worth of traveling, which will come in time. It's a little discouraging at first, but again, it's the beginning. You gotta get in shape. You gotta get your legs going. You gotta get your cardio going, and you'll be doing average 18. Most of us should be doing average 18 miles, 20 miles a day. There'll be a few of you who will be elite and will be doing 25 and 30. Don't look at this guy. We won't be doing that. No. I think the most I've ever done, and this took me about 5 weeks to get up to that point. I have done 22 miles in a day at my age. I'm capable of doing that, but not off the bat, no way. And I don't want to do that every day. This is I want to enjoy the trail. I stop a lot. I take photos and videos, and so I don't know if I'll be doing those big miles, but as long as I can do right now over 11 miles a day, I'll be in good shape to finish well before September 21st. So this is the little app. And so every day, let's go back to column C here. Every day that you hike, you got to put a number in this column. Let's say the first day you do, I'll probably be doing 8 miles. Let me go over here, and then up at the top where it says FX, you got to put your mileage up there. And then when you come over here to the left, you hit the green arrow, or not arrow, check mark. You tap that, and how come it didn't work? Come on, there you go. Oh, I gotta get rid of that. We gotta put 8 and click that. There we go. Now 8, I did 8 miles the first day. And then the second day, let's say we do 10 miles. So we got to put 10 in there, come over, hit the green arrow. There we go. Now it's in there. Okay. So hopefully the days in column F will start going down. Evidently they haven't yet. Let's say, and we do another, we do 12. Still nothing happening here. Let's say we do 15. We're getting a little ambitious. Okay, now we're starting to go down. 11.91. It's not much, but again, you got 180 days ahead of you. So as long as you can keep going above that 11, you'll start chipping away at your daily average. But this will come in handy down the road, especially when I get to the halfway point beyond. I'll be able to really get a handle of how I'm performing and how I need to perform to make my finish day. May not seem important right now. It may even feel a little, daunting task, but this will come in handy, especially towards the second half. You'll be able to. You're going to need to figure out your finish date, how you're doing your performance, and what you need to do to stay on track. And I didn't want to have to sit down at the end of every day and go through a formula and figure this out, where this little app, this spreadsheet will do it automatically for me. I just have to make sure that I put in my daily mileage and just go with that. So this is it right here. As you can see, has all the days all the way down. And if you think something like this is going to help you on this trail or even any other trail, this can be adapted to the PCT. You could use this on the long trail, the Florida trail. As long as you got to know your start date, your finish date, and roughly how many miles you're going to hike. That's all you need. And then it automatically calculates what mileage you need to do that particular day to stay on track at least. And if you can do better than that, and then you will be ahead of your schedule. So I think it's a pretty good app. So leave comments at the bottom. Let me know what you think. I got to thank my wife, One Step, for putting this together for me. And I'm sure I know I'm going to be using it quite a bit. And hopefully this will help any of you also thinking about doing a trail. All right, I'm just going to sign off here. And down to about 70 days. We're getting there. And if I find anything else interesting, I'll be glad to pass it along to you guys. I'm here to help. It's kind of why I'm documenting this trip for those of you who are planning. Hopefully I'm going to have information that will be valuable to your future hike. And if I make any pitfalls, hopefully you'll avoid the mistakes that I make and maybe pick up some tips. Okay, signing off. Catch you on the next one. Bye.